Let's bring in Russell Myers, who's the royal editor of the Daily Mirror. Russell, it really did mark a change hearing God Save the King at this service, didn't it?
Well, absolutely. I think we're all still getting used to it, as you were just saying just there. I mean, a tremendous series of events have taken place, of course, in the last couple of days. And I think that you're seeing so many things fast moving. Not only the way that the royal family are moving between locations now, the meetings that are taking place with the prime ministers. Tomorrow there'll be a series of meetings with privy councillors. The accession council that Prince Charles will go to has all put in place a series of events that will shape our history. And this is something that we're witnessing before our very, very eyes, and it's very surreal at the moment.
You've really well said, Russell. You talk about a tremendous series of events over the previous few days. What's to come will be historic as well. There is a big journey ahead now for the Queen ahead of her funeral.
Well, yes, I mean, those plans are still being put in place as well, because the fact that the Queen did die in Scotland has put him into formation something called Operation Unicorn, which will mean that she will lie in state in a couple of places in Scotland. So people will be able to pay their respects later on over the weekend. Certainly, Charles will embark upon a tour of the United Kingdom. He will seek motions of confidence from the devolved nations. And then you will see tributes for the rest of the royal family. I expect we'll see the Queen's children making their own tributes, and indeed we'll hear from the Prince of Wales. I mean, that will most probably come over the weekend, and then you will see such these cascade of calls that have been made to all instances of people like the Prime Minister, people, the Ministry of Defence have all got to come and be aligned in this. It's a tremendous amount of work that has to take place.
And when will we hear of the date for the Queen's funeral? Obviously, the King now has the final say on all of these plans.
Well, I think normally the day of death would be classed as D-Day, and because of the lateness of the announcement of the Queen's passing, that has then got shifted. So we still haven't had confirmation, but we are expecting the funeral to be on Monday, the 19th of September. Again, I think that because there are so many moving parts in all of this, the government still haven't announced that, and I think that will come to the decision has to be made by King Charles. And I think the business of his accession needs to be made tomorrow, and then he will be meeting with the most senior politicians in the land, the Privy Council, and then I imagine a statement will be made in the coming hours.
And Russell, there has been some discussion of a train journey ahead for the Queen, where the public will have an opportunity to pay their respects. Do we know any detail about that?
Well, that has always been the plan, as I understand it. But I do believe that will change now. I think that the Queen's body will be taken via plane from Scotland back to London via RAF Northolt. We're not too sure why that decision has been made, because, as I say, these plans have been long held for many, many years, and the royal train had been Her Majesty's preferred mode of transport. But it does appear that she will be taken once she lies in state in a couple of locations in Scotland for people to pay their respect, staff and members of the public, that she will be brought back via RAF aircraft.
And then eventually the Queen's coffin will rest on a raised platform beneath the 11th century hall's medieval timber roof. A really emotional and sombre and touching and moving few days ahead, that's for sure. Not just in Great Britain, but right around the world.
And it's interesting to see, though, that there are changes, as we have discussed, to that original plan. One of the changes also includes that the accession tomorrow will be televised. So that is not something we've seen, obviously, before, given that it was 70 years ago. The Queen's accession happened, but some real significant changes in terms of the planning from what we were originally told to what is actually occurring.
Absolutely. Thank you very much to Russell Myers there.